and welcome on Watches TV. And a little while back I had a chance of reviewing the Type 3 BBB from Ressense, a really super cool timepiece with its magical time display soaked in oil, giving it a really unique feel, not to mention how hours and minutes turn around under this dome dial. So like I said, magical, but for those who have seen the video, well, time and date setting could be perceived as a little bit tricky. Okay, you do get used to it, this is just a question of habit and practice, but today I will talk about another Ressense timepiece that precisely makes these setting operations really easy. Well, sort of, but I'll explain. This timepiece is the Type 2 E-Crown, and it's not a new watch. It came out in 2018 and we've already talked about it, but following this previous Type 3 video, well, Benoît Mainthiens, founder and creative mastermind behind all these crazy timepieces, reached out to me and asked if I was willing to try the E-Crown, and why would I say no, right? So this watch is Benoît's personal watch, and I've been wearing it for the last couple of weeks, and I have to say that it's uber cool. Not only the look of it is really special, but naturally in the Ressense style, you will find this domed sapphire glass, a titanium dial with a regular type of time display with separated hours, minutes, and seconds twirling around the center axis. But here you can see another little indicator where part of the magic happens, but I will get there very shortly, don't worry. So super sleek titanium 45mm case, really thin, only 12mm, and the whole package is super light and extremely comfortable to wear, and to the eye really doesn't feel like a 45mm wide timepiece. And I can promise you that I had quite a lot of comments while wearing it, and understandably so. Okay, but let's now get to the juicy part, because as you can see on the case back, well, it feels like you have nothing there. You do have a crown, but this one is mainly used to wind the watch, since this is a mechanical watch and this last precision is important with what is about to occur. Okay, it doesn't look like a traditional crown. Do you take this little lever out, which by the way is really finely well adjusted and integrated into the case back, and you go back and forth like with any regular crown. This watch holds 36 hours of power reserve, and when you wind it, well, you can see that all the time indication move along, and the first pleasure is precisely to wind it and totally mess up your actual time, because then the first example of its magic power will blow your mind. Ready? A bit of abracadabra spell and a double tap on the sapphire dome. It kind of wakes it up, and this is what happens next. Did you see how cool this was? I mean, it simply sets itself back to the correct time. Personally, I simply love how it kind of goes back and forth till you're back to the proper time. And I guess they could have made it more directly to this correct time, but then again, this back and forth motion makes it so much more pleasurable. So pleasing to the eye, well, especially if you're a little bit geeky like me and impressed by such little things. So let me describe a bit more in detail the options you have with this Type 2. Here you will find this little indicator I mentioned before, and as you can see, the pointer is pointing at this yellow arc which represents your first time zone, and now you see me coming. Again, you double tap the sapphire crystal and you will see a little move that shows that the watch is awake, something also confirmed by a small and discreet flash of light. Okay, now it's again awake, I tap it again, it moves from one point, I move it again, and it goes to this third greenish arc, where this actually represents your second time zone, and see what happens. Well, how cool is that? I mean, personally, I find it extremely playful. And did you notice this flap system opening around this indicator while in motion? Again, such a cool feature, and there's a purpose for this. As you can see, there is also a little opening around the hour counter, and this enables light to go through and juice up the energy cell required by the electronic module, allowing to keep track of actual time. So So this entire module represents the E-crown technology developed by Recense. And though I love traditional watchmaking, I really appreciate this mix of mechanics and technology. Okay, and if you don't want to use the electronic aspect of the watch, well, you set the pointer on the neutral position, and then you use the crown and set it yourself to the desired time. But with this watch, I promise that you don't want to do this. So now, how do you actually set the whole thing? And going back to some tapping activity, and now I want the pointer to be facing the blue arc. Tap again. Blue has a little analogy of the Bluetooth function of the watch, which establishes communication with the dedicated app on your phone. So let's open the app, and as you can see, it tries to connect to the watch. So search again. Connection successful. And there we see actually what corresponds to the second time zone. I go here. This is the first time zone, GMT +1. And let's go to the second time zone, and let's set another one. And let's make it a bit more playful, and we're going to put Los Angeles. Let's go far away. So now I press the send to the watch, and we're done. So if you leave it still for a short while, approximately 30 seconds, the app will tell you that it will lose connection between the two, and you can, of course, maintain it, as you can see, disconnecting in 7, but we're done and we can close the app. And actually, the only little downside I noticed in terms of user friendliness is that you need to have the connection established to set your time zones. You can't previously prepare this on the app and then simply update the watch once the connection is established. But I guess that's only a small software update away. Okay, let's now verify this second time zone, and I press it again, tick, tick, and let's see what happened. Well, there we are, Los Angeles, hello, hello to you. Coming back on the battery aspect, you can also charge it with this induction charger. Which glows, quite intensely in the night. Looks cool and a little bit sci-fi-ish, but you don't want it in your bedroom, like I said. It's quite intense and lights up the entire room, basically. But if you're wearing the watch in the dark, Superluminova will kick in and you can read very decently the time, probably the most efficient Superluminova I have ever seen. And another cool feature is that when you let your watch stand still on your table, for instance, well, the mechanical movement will stop after a little while and go to a full idle mode. So the hour hand will set itself to 12 o'clock on the Recense logo, and the minute hand on the 60 position, and pick up your watch 12 hours later or 5 days later, double tap it, and bang, it goes back to the correct time. So this feature will prevent your watch from using unnecessary mechanical power reserve. And it's yet another super cool thing about this Recense Type 2 E-crown. And I know I must have used the word cool a gazillion times, but sorry, that's just the way it is. But in all honesty, it took me a little while to get to the proper tapping right. You have to adjust yourself. Once you find the sweet spot, you're all good and it works very easily. But I must admit, it can be a little bit frustrating at first, but that's okay. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. I will fortunately have to give Benoit's watch back to him very shortly. This is very sad, but another good news from Recense is that they just introduced the Type 8, a much more affordable and beautifully simplistic way of entering the brand's unique universe. Anyhow, thanks for watching and sharing. See you real soon. And viva creative watchmaking. See you soon. Bye.